Optic Watch Reviews, 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 Optic Watch Reviews.
Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, collection review for Nick, a civil servant in the UK. Nick is 39-year-old. He's trying to get his watch decisions right so as not to waste money. He likes to dress a little more formally than the average guy and gravitates towards a more classical, conservative style. Now his first two watches were quartz watches, a Seiko dress watch bought by his mum for his 18th birthday, and later on he purchased himself a Timex Waterbury field style quartz watch. Now the first automatic Nick purchased was a Seiko SKX 013, bought in 2018. He still loves it, used it pretty much as a beater for foreign holidays, but it was also used, quite interestingly, I hadn't thought of that one, to time his wife's contractions during his wife's labor for his first child. So great use of an SKX indeed in time of emergency, at least some urgency. Then later on in 2018 he got the Saab 017, that's the green dial Alpinist, which is discontinued. It was a gift from his wife for their 10th anniversary of their wedding. A very cool gift. It holds sentimental value, and he just had it serviced. You know, the problem with those Seikos is the service because you know, it takes some time to service and you have to pay the watchmaker's time. It ends up costing more than what you paid for the watch itself, but for a discontinued watch I think it makes sense to do it. Often we say you can just swap out the movement, probably going to be cheaper. Anyway, he agrees that maybe the Prospects line is a bit overpriced given the issues of certain movements with accuracy. But there's also something special about the brand, and it stirs passion, and you know, I agree with that. I can't help myself. I need to collect Seiko. I just love the objects, and maybe I don't wear them as much as before, but they're just cool things to own. Then Nick purchased two vintage Seiko watches, a 6139-6012 chronograph from Optic's birth year 1975, and then he got one from his birth year 1982, 6309-729A with a Pepsi bezel, currently being serviced. How cool is that? You know, if you're gonna buy a birth year watch, yeah, don't go crazy on the price. I think a Seiko is a pretty good idea. Other pieces that came and went, Saab 033, so that's the black dial, discontinued, a very cool watch. I have that one, and I have the cream dial one, the 035. He sold it when he got a luxury equivalent, let's say, from Rolex. We're gonna get to that in a second. You know, I keep them because I'll pass them on to my kids, and because also they're just well-made watches. I don't think they have really found the same formula afterwards. Another watch he bought and sold, it was a 1968 Omega DeVille, the model 166.033. Sold after a year in 2020. Lovely watch, but wasn't getting enough wrist time, and he regretted not buying the Speedmaster. I guess you gotta go for the one you really want. And the third watch that went is a King Seiko 5625-7040 from 1970. He didn't really connect with the look of it, but still in the back of his mind he's thinking of a high beat King Seiko with a white dial, manual wind for the future. So maybe Nick, some Grand Seiko models are made for you. There's a very cool manual wind model, very thin. What is it? There's more than one. I like the black one with the bracelet. Could be something for you, but I wouldn't buy that at full retail. Anyway, 2019, things got serious. Nick got his first Rolex Datejust 36 blue dial, smooth bezel, Jubilee bracelet, reference 126200, the same configuration as my friend Johnny Guitar. well done, purchased from his local AD after only waiting 2 months. It's a lovely watch, comfortable, very classy, and it's the one that replaced the Sub 033. Great, you're able to move on. I like to keep everything. And that's why I have 3 watch boxes. Now, it was followed in 2020 by a Speedy boat new from an AD. The first Omega in space, now discontinued and worth more than what he paid for. So you see, you can make money with anything. Even some, or many Speedies actually, gain value. But there you go, first Omega in space, discontinued indeed. He was debating between that and the Tudor Black Bay 58, but wasn't too keen on the gilt tones of the Black Bay. So what he likes about the Speedy is that it has more modest dimensions than the Professional at right under 40 millimeters, and it fits his wrist, which is a 6.5 inch. Mine is a bit slightly larger, so I don't mind the 42 millimeters, but yeah, the first Omega in space, really a great choice. And he's put it on the aftermarket Forstner flat link vintage style bracelet, as seen on the YouTube channel of my friend Ben. The channel is called Tokkante, Tokkante. Right, and the most recent acquisition, very interesting, it's the brand new Rolex Explorer 36, reference 124270. He felt the 39, the one I have, was a bit too large for his wrist. He was eyeing the semi-vintage ones, the 114270, but the prices crept up. And then he went to see his AD on the day of the release and got it 3 months later. So you see, guys, it does happen, and he feels very lucky. So really, 3 top watches, the Datejust, the Explorer, and the first Omega in space. What a perfect combo there. Three pieces, really wonderful. Now, the questions. Nick is considering the way he sees his collection is an affordable watch case and a luxury collection. I pretty much do the same. I even put them in separate boxes, so I can really enjoy the luxury ones on their own there. He likes no-date watches, not ready yet to go into haute horology. Yeah, I would do that in my mid-40s if I was you. But he would like to have a formal dress watch, maybe a JLC Reverso to celebrate his 50th. I think that's great planning, indeed. But the obvious gap he sees is a luxury diver missing in the collection. Again, he talks about the Black Bay 58. He's just not sure about the colors. Honestly, I think it's a great watch. I wear it so much, and it's so usable. It is really the Rolex family diver that is the most usable to me. Just such a beautiful case, beautiful proportions. Mine works well. Some people have reported some issues, so yeah, maybe down the line those Tudor movements are not going to be as reliable. So far so good for me. I put a lot of scratches in mine. I think it's a watch that demands hard use, unlike maybe the Rolex divers, which have become so expensive and so valuable, but bound to keep more value. But who knows, maybe in 20 years those early Black Bay 58s will be the ones that people are looking for. And for someone who likes smaller watches, it wears perfectly. It really wears amazing at 39 millimeters, and you're not going to get that wear from the new Submariners. Maybe the vintage ones would be better. Concerning Omega, Nick says he doesn't really like the modern ones. He doesn't think those designs are going to be as timeless. And yeah, I agree with that. They're a bit too big, and they change them all the time. And when you see the previous ones, they look very dated. They're good watches, but they date very quickly, unlike Rolex, who has really the styling formula to keep the watches relevant, whether you look at the old ones or the new ones. So yeah, I would go Rolex. So The grail watch of Nick is the Submariner no date 124060. He's on the list at the AD, and hopes that his purchases so far are gonna put him on the top of the list at the AD. He's dropped the hint that his 40th birthday is coming next year, and I think, Nick, you have a really good chance. You've got that Explorer, the brand new Explorer 36. Not many people can say that, so I think you have a good connection there and a good chance. Following on the email, he's mindful that this has to end somewhere. Well, yes and no. I think you should pace it, not rush it. It doesn't need to end, but you have to, you have a family to support. So, and you just got some very expensive watches. So, time to enjoy them, and take your time. Wait for that Submariner. Nick says that 3 luxury pieces seem to be a good number. He wants to wear and enjoy them all, and it becomes harder the larger a collection becomes. It's something I've discussed before on the channel. At one point it gets too much, and you have to understand that make a difference between what you're wearing, what you're collecting. But some people just can't take the numbers. It's too much, and sometimes I want to reduce, sometimes I want to increase my collection personally. He says he could stretch to 4 if he got the Black Bay 58 blue or the Submariner. You've already got the blue Rolex. I'm not sure the Black Bay 58 blue. It's a beautiful watch. You could have two black watches, two blue watches. Why not? But I would rather go for the black version, which is not really black. It's faded black with a gilt color, a bit of red. I would go for the original Black Bay 58. If I had to choose, in adding to your collection, I would prefer that, I think. And he's wondering about justifying the price of the Submariner. It's really the one he desires. He doesn't want to pay grey market prices, and he's wondering. He's asking me if he should sell one of the 3 watches he's got, one of the 3 good watches he's got, and I'm absolutely say no. You've got 3 great watches, bound all 3 to remain valuable, collectible. Rolex is always good to own, and you said it yourself. You answer yourself in your email really the questions. You want to enjoy them now. You just got the Explorer. You've got a beautiful day. You're good to go for many years with just that, and you have all the time to wait for your AD to deliver that 124 or 60, that Submariner no day that you really crave. You'll find when you have it that maybe that first, it's an amazing, beautiful watch. It is so good. At the same time, it is so precious and expensive that you might not be keen to wear it as much as you would a Black Bay 58. But at the same time, it's almost a rite of passage to have a Submariner or a Sea Dweller. They're amazing watches, so I could never tell anyone not to go for the Grail. But as you seem to be very conscious of how much these watches are costing and how much you should be saving, I think it answers itself. There's absolutely no rush, and if it takes time, if around your birthday you haven't received it, my advice would be just to pick up Black Bay 58 blue or black. I prefer the black, and I think it would add a bit of color. And when you look at your collection of Seikos, if you put together the SKX black diver with the gilt colors actually on the Alpinist, and then you have a vintage piece there with a chronograph, put those together and you pretty much get the Black Bay 58, which is incredibly well built, and I think it's going to satisfy you a lot. So while you're waiting for the Submariner, no rush, but if the wait is too long, just grab the Black Bay, and later on, if you get the call for the Submariner, maybe sell it. But first, learn to live with both, and I think there's room for both in a collection. The Black Bay 58 is the one you can beat up a bit, and the Submariner is just a beautiful watch for life that you will pass on to your kid or your kids. And there you go, you will have an amazing collection. And then later on, yeah, add maybe a dual time GLC reverso classy watch when you're 45 or 50, and you'll be done. I think you've been very lucky. You've been very lucky with the watches you chose, and I like your Seikos, and I think that your 3 luxury watches so far are admirably chosen, very complementary, and yeah, the road for you is paved. As I mentioned, maybe a Grand Seiko is something you would like. SBGM 221, you know, the GMT would add a nice cream color. It would be the dress piece in your collection, would bring the GMT. I would add that. I think it doesn't cost that much. It's around the price of a Black Bay 58. If you're not sure about the Black Bay 58, well, maybe skip it. You have your SKX as a diver, and maybe add that, you know, a Grand Seiko SBGM 221. Try to find one in good condition, don't pay too much for it. You'd have a cool dressier piece, GMT, something very nice because you like the Seiko brand. I think you would really enjoy it. And then wait for the Submariner. Alright guys, let me know what you think about the collection of Nick. Give the video a like if you dig it, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.